I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be why some men avoid sex and intimacy. I've obviously got a question here from a woman. And she says, "Hey, Coach, so I have a question about a particular man, and that is my husband. We've been married for 13 years, and we've been together for over 20. My question is this. My husband cannot cry or show many emotions. He can only show anger." Well, it sounds like you've seen too many movies and television shows that say guys got to be emotional and share their emotions and share their feelings. But that's not how us guys are really built. Us men tend to be logic and reason-driven beings, whereas women tend to be more emotional beings. And so when you look at, because what I do, I get emails from all the time, and so when a guy starts, because basically what you're saying here is that my husband doesn't act like a woman, in essence is what it is, because a lot of women have been conditioned and told through the media and television programs and movies and all these things, the guys are supposed to basically act like women. What you want is you want a guy that acts like a woman. But yet every time women go out with guys who act like women, they get turned off and they don't feel any sexual polarity and they want nothing to do with these guys. So you got to look at things like that and ask yourself, well, where did that come from? Where was the first time someone, or did I get the idea that I wanted my husband to act like a woman? It's something to think about. Because like all of us, we're conditioned and we're taught by society or our friends, our family, our peer group that people are to be a certain way. And I know from what I do that when a guy acts this way and cries and shows emotions and acts like a little sissy and he acts like a woman, I can understand if he's upset and he's sad that maybe he lost a friend or something like that. But to expect your husband to talk like a woman and act like a woman when it comes to expressing these things because you saw it in a movie or that's what everybody says you want, the bottom line is when you look at my work, and all the people from all over the world and every society, even ultra-conservative societies, when they act this way, it turns the woman off. Because what happens is when a masculine guy starts acting like a feminine woman, it's going to take his feminine girlfriend and cause her to move into her masculinity, start acting more masculine to make up for the fact that he's being so weak, and that destroys the sexual polarity. It ruins the attraction. You hear a lot in our society about, we want the relationships to be 50-50. Well, when relationships are 50-50, there's no polarity and there's no sex happening because a feminine woman is going to be most attracted to masculine qualities in a masculine man, and vice versa. A masculine man is going to be most attracted to a woman when she's in her feminine. But when a woman's acting more like a man and she's moved into her masculine to make up for her husband's weakness and vice versa, the sexual polarity and the desire for one another, it dissolves, it evaporates, because in essence, you're each acting more like the other person instead of being in your natural essence, which creates that sexual attraction, that sexual polarity. After all, our bodies are quite different, men from women. And so she says, I'm a pretty good-looking woman for my age. I'm in my 40s. My husband is overweight, and he sleeps a lot. He has always seemed to make himself so busy doing work things that there is no time for communication, sex, or time to even make life plans. Well, what that tells me is that if your husband really, truly loved himself and cared about himself, he would take care of his body. He'd go to the gym, and he would work out, and he would eat healthy. Not because he wants to look good for you. Obviously, he'd like to do that, or you would hope that he would like to do that. But you want him to do that of his own volition, because he's just has a high achieving mindset. He wants to take care of himself, and he knows in order to be his most productive, he's got to be healthy. But you say yourself, it's just because that's what happens. People get married, they have kids, they have a family, they get busy focused on work and paying the bills and going through their routine, and all of those things that he did 20-something years ago when you guys met, and he caused you to fall in love with him. He stopped doing those things at some point in time. And so this is so typical what you see, because most people in life major in minor things. And so more than likely, he's obviously not too into his job or his career. It's not something that's a real passion, because he's not taking care of his body. He's not happy. He's not fulfilled. And there's obviously things that are going on in his life they're not where they wanted them to be. And so he's kind of making a half-ass effort. He's making a half-ass effort in his career, and he's making a half-ass effort in his family. And so she says, we really don't do anything with our kids, and he does whatever he can to make sure that he's not alone with me, literally. Well, I mean, it could be quite possible that he's just simply not in love with you, or maybe he was never in love with you. A lot of people, I mean, I did this in my 20s, and so I'm not calling the kettle black here. A lot of people in our society do this. They marry somebody that they love, but they're not in love because they're comfortable. And like I did a video recently called Cognitive Dissonance, and most people bullshit themselves. They bullshit themselves into believing that their job or their career, their business is more fulfilling and more emotionally compelling than it is. They bullshit themselves into believing that they care more about their lover or their spouse more than they really do when they were never really that into them in the first place. And I know, like, for me, after a year of marriage, the light bulb finally went off my head, and I just realized, I'm bullshitting myself here. I love this girl. She's a great girl, but I'm not in love with her. I never have been, and I never will be. I will never be able to force myself to feel the feelings that I felt for other women that I didn't feel for my wife. And it took me basically growing a set of balls and getting the fuck out of Dodge and being man enough to go to my wife and basically end the marriage and have the balls to walk away, because it didn't serve her and it didn't serve me to stay in the relationship. And it certainly wouldn't have served our children if we would have gone ahead and had some children in that kind of a situation, just because it wasn't. Here's what I've learned about, because I've dated a lot of women over the years that have children, is that the thing I've noticed is that when a guy's really into the mother, when he really loves the mother and he really cares about the mother, he'll love her kids too. But if he's not really that into the mom, he's not going to want to be involved in the kid's life, and he's really going to could care less. And so that's why it's important, if you're a man, a single father, and you've got little kids, or you're a woman and you've got kids, you got to make sure that the person that you're dating, that he's just as crazy about you and as he is, or I say just as crazy about your kids as he is about you. But if he's rude, he just doesn't seem to really give a shit about your children, it's indicative of how he deep down really feels about you. And at the end of the day, what you want is you want to have somebody that's helping to raise your children who is into them and who cares about them. I had a quote that I saw just recently about parents, and it goes like this, and if you're a parent, you should listen to what I'm about to share with you. And he says, parents need to fill a child's bucket of self-esteem so high that the rest of the world can't poke enough holes to drain it dry. That was by Alvin Price. Brilliant quote. I mean, think about that. Think about the person that you're going to be with, and yeah, they might treat you great and you might be satisfied, but are you satisfied with the level of effort and care and concern that they put into your children or helping to raise your children? And if you don't see it, you got to ask yourself this question: is it really serving my children to be in a relationship with this person, or would it better serve them for me to suck it up in the relationship and take however many years, weeks, months, however long it needs to take in order to find somebody who will love and cherish me for who I am, and who will love and cherish my children just because that's who he is. So she says, to not get into too much detail, he's more of a hands-off than anything. I have always been the one begging for attention in all respects. Oh, and he was married before me. Over the years, he has called me by his ex-wife's name. That's always nice. And he has done many things that I think a man would not do to a woman if he really loved her. See, you notice that stuff. But I would say a little bit, you've probably been bullshitting yourself and reading more into the situation, reading more into the relationship than was really there. You know, a lot of us do this because we want to be loved. We want somebody that accepts us. And sometimes it can take a long time. And it can be frustrating when you're single, when you're going out with date after date after date, or you're meeting person after person after person. And it just, even though there might be an initial attraction, it just never really seems to go anywhere. You don't really feel like you've met anybody that you really click with. And so then you meet somebody that's a lot better than the rest of them, but they're still deep down not what you really want. And you got to resist the urge to settle, because so many people do it in our societies. And like I said, just from what you're sharing with your husband, he's obviously not very happy. He doesn't sound like he's that into you, and maybe he never really was. And unfortunately, I mean, that's just the way he is. And she says here, I've been told by my friends that I'm very attractive, and that he must be messed up in his brain to not want to be intimate with me, but he continues to avoid me and being intimate. Any ideas? This is what I would tell him. And just look him right in the eye and sit him down and just say, honey, I want you to know that I love you and I adore you, but I'm not happy. We don't have any intimacy. We don't have any sex anymore. You don't touch me. And quite frankly, you don't make me feel desired and make me feel loved. And if we're going to stay married, and if I'm going to stay in this relationship, I want you to take care of yourself. I want you to take care of your body. I want you to join the gym. I want you to work out. I want you to eat healthy. Show me that you love yourself enough to take care of your body and get yourself back into great shape. Show me that you love me by taking me out and dating me and romancing me, not because I'm nagging you or getting on your ass about it, but because you love me and you want to do it. And if you don't want to do it and you don't feel you want to do it, that's okay too. Then we need to end our relationship. We need to get a divorce, and you need to go on with your life so you can find somebody that fulfills you, somebody that will cause you to be emotionally compelled to want to do the things for her that you used to do for me, because I'm not going to stay in this marriage if you're going to continue to make the same level of effort that you're making. It's not sufficient. I love you. I adore you. If you want to stay together, then I want to hear what you're willing to do right now to save our marriage. And if you're not, then obviously it must be over, and it's time for me to move on. And I'd like to talk about either you moving out or me moving out, and you discuss that stuff. That's what it's going to take, because, I mean, you've been in this relationship for 20 years, you've been married for 13 years, and obviously things have been this way for a long time. And if you're like most people that stay in relationships longer than they should, then you've probably stayed in this relationship way too long. And I know it's maybe not what you want to hear, but, I mean, at the end of the day, your friends and you know this yourself. You have observed the same things I'm sharing with you. The bottom line is you know to judge your man by his actions, and his actions are not indicative of a man who's head over heels in love with you, and you deserve to have that. You deserve to have somebody who loves you and who cherishes you. And so that's what you need to have, a serious talk with him and tell him where you stand, and he'll either make the effort or he won't. Even if he says he's gonna and he makes a change, give it 90 days. And if at the end of 90 days he's good for like 30, 45 days and he goes right back to his old ways, then you know that he's just faking it, because people can fake things for about 90 days. And after 90 days you can tell him, hey, I gave it a shot, and you haven't made the effort. I'm out of here. And go find somebody that really will love you and cherish you the way you deserve to be treated. So if you have a question you want to ask me, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab, which will be on the left-hand side of your screen. Send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max, and just give me several weeks to get back to you with a response. If you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. You can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab, which will be at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. If you want to get a digital version of my Kindle ebook, on my website, underneath the email sign-up box, is a box that has a link that will take you right to the Amazon Kindle download page for my book. Once you get there, if you don't have a Kindle device, just download one of their free e-reader apps for whatever electronic device you want to read my ebook on. And if you appreciate the value of the information I offer in these video newsletters, the articles on my website, or my ebook, you can show your appreciation right now by going to my website, and on the Would Be a Toolbar at the bottom of your screen, click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information. And I will talk to you soon.